Hey guys, so I hope all of you are having a wonderful day and a wonderful week and everyone is staying safe. So today I'm really excited. I am doing my first video like this, and what I mean by this, it is a review. And the review I'm doing is actually a book review. So I have actually wanted to do this review for a while, and the reason I suppose I could say I did stall a little bit because here's the thing. The particular book I got, it's really the author. I will just go ahead and say that. I grew up with the author. Like, not personally, but it's like I grew up reading his books. And so now that I'm having to review a book, it makes me think, like, does it make me a bad person to like say all this about his books, because I loved his books growing up. But anyhow, I'm just gonna dive right in because I really need to. We need to talk about this. This needs to be exposed because it just does. So without further ado, guys, the book I am doing for my review is James Patterson's Hawk. Okay, so if you are not familiar with James Patterson, he is a massive writer. Great books. He does adult books. He does. I think he does like these cartoon books because he did that with some of his teen books, and that's where I am. I normally stay with his safe teen. I always look at the book and read it. I specifically only stay with the sci-fi fantasy. I did like Daniel X. It's like about a boy that is an alien and he fights off aliens. It's really, really cool. And I remember reading that for the first time. It was really exciting, fighting off aliens, but that's just me. But my major number one series that I grew up with was Maximum Ride. Guys, Max and I, and you're going to hear me say this, so before I continue, Maximum Ride is the title of his book. He's got 9 of them, and Maximum Ride is the main character. That's her name. We call her Max for short. Max and I grew up together, okay? I love everything about Max. She is brave, she is courageous, she is strong, she's smart, she knows right from wrong. She sacrifices everything for those she loves, and she's not a Debbie Downer. She never lets anything get her down, and that it just encourages me. I remember as a little girl, if I had a bad day, I'm like, I wonder what Max, what would Max do? Just be strong, push through. And if you, in a nutshell, Maximum Ride, the series, it's about a group of kids that were created in a science lab. They're 98% human and 2% birds, so they can, they grow wings. But the entire series is basically that the scientists still want to, do tests on them or stuff. They want to probe them and stuff. Well, they want to live as normal as possible, whether or not they are mutants or not. So they are just constantly fighting off, all these bad guys and scientists, and you go on these adventures. I have seen the highs and the lows. I have felt the struggles. I have felt the sorrow. I have felt happiness. I have felt goofiness. I have felt it all with Max and the group. You literally become part of the family. And one thing I love is Max narrates all the books, and that's how James Patterson has written Maximum Ride, through Max's perspective. It's like she's telling the story. So anything she says, every word comes alive. You are breathing it in, and just chapter after chapter, I never get enough of it. I have reread those books so many times, countless times. I cannot tell you. My parents can tell you, I remember she was always reading those books. So those are my favorite books. Okay, so recently I follow James Patterson on Instagram, and he came out recently with Hawk, and I was thinking, what is that he's coming out? Why is everyone making a big deal of this book? I didn't know, and so I finally looked into it, and it is Hawk. It is a continuation of Maximum Ride. So Hawk is Max's daughter. I'm not giving away who the father is. That is for y'all to find out. Go read Maximum Ride, guys. Great series. You're gonna love it. Anyhow, I got super excited. I flipped out when I found out. I ran downstairs. I'm calling Books a Million. Like, do you have this book in? Do you have it in? Like, I got to get it. The very next day, I'm like, guys, we got to go to Books a Million. I got to get my book. So I got my book, and I was super excited. I was bouncing in the back seat. I was so ready to dive right in, to just dig my fingers into the pages, just figure out. I wanted to get to know Hawk. So Hawk is her name. It is a cool name. I will give her that. So I wanted to just dive right in. I wanted to know what's the next adventure I'm taking. What is going on? What is the next crazy world? Travesty, I guess. Like, there's always something wrong with the world, and that's what the characters are there for. They're always there to save the world. But I come home and I go to my room and I start reading, and immediately I'm disappointed. Okay, so he has a prologue before even chapter 1. Within the prologue, there's a good bit of language. And if you know anything about James Patterson and his teens, like his teen books, he's never like that. He might throw out like one word out of like 300 pages, and it's like the most minor word. But he does not touch language. Like, he just doesn't do it. He might do it with his adult books, but he tries to stay away from it with his young adult books and his, children's books. Okay, so I'm expecting that. That's not what I got. I got word after word after word within just a prologue. Then chapter 1. Word after word after word after word. It is terrifying. I'm actually struggling. Hello. You want to join in? Guys, I'm actually struggling to finish chapter 1. I'm just thinking, is this what it's going to be like? I don't even think I'm going to be able to finish this. So I'm just thinking, okay, well, it was just chapter 1 and the prologue. Maybe it was just the situation that was going on in chapter 1. Maybe it was just because of what was going on. Chapter 2, chapter 3, it actually just gets worse. It gets worse. And I'm thinking, I can't finish this. This is just ridiculous. I can't do it. So there are a few things that people might argue with this one. So Hawk grew up without Max and her father. So she grew up without parents. So of course you might argue the point of view of, well, she didn't get parental guidance. She grew up without parents. So she didn't have anyone there to teach her right from wrong. Don't say this, don't say that. Okay, but every kid should know what to do and what not to do. They should have the decency, or at least the wisdom at an age. Okay, she is now a preteen. She should know. She should know. So I to be honest, I'm not going to give her slack. I'm not giving slack on that. I was very disappointed. I was a little offended also because Max never did that. It hurts me because it's like whatever you portray Hawk as, it's like, hey, she was Max's daughter. If she's her kid, she should have her DNA and a little bit of her personality. And she's nothing like Max. So can we bring it back in and make her a little bit more decent? Of course, then I didn't write the book. So, all right, so that's one issue. Second issue, so if you have never read his books are actually pretty easy to read because they're only about, each chapter is about, okay, that's chapter 3, just 2 pages. But then it goes straight to chapter 4. Chapter 4 might be, that was 2 pages. Chapter 5 was 5.5 pages. They're very short and simple, but one thing I like about short chapters, I don't mind long chapters. It just so happens that sometimes the short chapters kind of keep it going. Like, it just creates the suspense. Like, you end it immediately. And you're like, wait a minute, what's going to happen next? So you immediately go to the next page, and then you're already on the next chapter and the next and the next. So that's actually something I have found authors, like that's actually a really great technique to use, like the short chapters, because then we're constantly waiting for the next thing to happen. So we're already on the next page and on to the next chapter. So I have always, that's just how James Patterson writes his books. Okay, here's the issue with that. Every time a chapter ends, I should already be a couple of hours in the next chapter. We should already have skipped a couple of hours. Or we should already be on to the next issue, right? Like that, I don't... There is no reason why 2 chapters should be like seconds apart, or is like I'm literally continuing from the past chapter. No, that's the chapter before. I want to move on. And that is what he did. Every chapter literally ended, was like, and then I turned the corner. Great. The next chapter. As I was turning the corner, no. No, I get that you turned the corner in the past. No, I need you to already be like headed to your house or something. You should be at your house. I just, no. I don't need an entire chapter talking about how you were walking for about 30 minutes. And that's literally what I got. It was, guys, it made the chapters too clunky, and it was clunky, chunky, just everything. It was horrible. There was no space. I felt that it was dry. Ironically, this is how I put it, which is kind of funny. It was too smushed together, and yet it drug on. It like took forever. So it was both really, really long and yet too squished. So I don't even know if that's going to make sense to you, but that's basically how it felt to me. The next issue, which is the major issue, the main character. Guys, I cannot read a character or like a book. I cannot read a book if I cannot connect with the main character. I have never met a more cold-hearted, distant, so bratty and out there character than Hawk. I could not connect with her. Guys, I connected with Max immediately. I saw through her eyes. I jumped right into the journey. I struggled so bad. Guys, I stopped at like chapter 3 and then waited a little bit, and I'm like, hey, you know what? Let me push through. I got to chapter 7. Guys, that's disappointing. That is how far I've gone. I'm doing a review on a book that, like, I can't even finish it. That's what hurts me the most, is I love James Patterson, and I have always loved Max, and I was excited. I can't even finish this. Guys, it's really disappointing, because I was looking forward to really getting to know Hawk and going on this journey with her, just like I did with Max. That is not what happened. Hawk is very, very, like, it's different. I guess I will say this, like, it's different. I've met a couple of bitter characters, but you can still connect with them. She's just straight, like, she's a character that just does not care. It's almost like she's a character that doesn't even care she's a character. So at that point, what's the point of even creating her? That is how bad it felt. And so I could not connect with her. I just, not even to the tiniest bit, not even a sliver. So connecting with her is probably the most important thing when you read a book. That's why you read the book, for the adventure, and also in order to take the adventure, well, you've got to know your characters. I cannot get to know my character when I hate her so much and I can't connect with her. And if that wasn't enough, guys, the grammar. Can I just say something? This looked like he rushed it within a couple of hours. Someone looked over it and said, yeah, looks great. Send it off. It legitimate, I promise you, it is as if no one peer reviewed it. It has so many grammarly, it has so many grammar issues. They're just, it's really bad. I have never actually read one of his books that have had, every now and then you might have, like, any book has, like, at least one typo or a few, like, random, like, one or two, maybe three, but that's, like, sprawled out throughout the 300 pages. Guys, this is like almost every sentence. There is a grammar issue. There is something wrong. And it's not one of those things, it's not one of those character things where he purposely misspells a word or does something because it's the way the character would say it. No. It is legitimately all grammar issue. It is really, really bad. I have never read a book that disappointing. And I don't even think I'm going to be able to finish it. I don't mean to do this review and make y'all think ill of James Patterson. Definitely go read Daniel X. Great, fun series, very adventurous. Of course, you know what I'm going to say next. Definitely join the Maximum Ride family. Go get the books. There's 9, so you are going to have to take the awesome adventure. It is very worth it. But if I'm being honest, I'm a little disappointed and a little hurt that James Patterson actually, like, wrote this and, like, he got this published. Like, he actually thought that this was okay. I honestly at this point don't even know what to say anymore. There's just so many things wrong with this book, and I can't even, that's it. I can't even. I have never actually imagined myself saying such harsh words about a book, especially one with a particular author that I have actually known as a little kid, loved all my life. And so now I'm having to do a review and say how terrible his work is. But I was also brought up to tell the truth and be honest. And I'm trying to be as nice about it as possible right now because, guys, I think what hurts the most is I grew up with Max, and when there's a continuation, I expect there to be a little bit of a connection, especially from Hawk. I mean, she's her daughter. I mean, for crying out loud, she should at least have major characteristics, like at least a little bit of personality, you know, some similarities, and they are so polar opposites. It doesn't make sense, and there was nothing I liked about it, and I was hurt. I was disappointed. There's nothing I can do about it, but I felt that if I held that in any longer, I was just gonna scream. But that is my review. I'm going to end it here because if I talk about this anymore, it's just not going to be pretty. So, guys, I will try and end this on a positive note. So, positive note, James Patterson has wonderful books out there. Go check out Daniel X and check out Maximum Ride. Those are my top suggestions because those are journeys that you will take with Daniel and then with Max. Like, you will not regret being part of the family, and just go check them out. The slightly negative note, not a worthy read. Very disappointed. I wish he would have not done the language. He's just never done that, so I was a little hurt by that. And I wish that the character was a little bit more I could connect with her. I felt like I was hitting a brick wall over and over and over again. So it was really hard for me. And I wish it wasn't so clunky and so abstract to the point where I had no idea. Like, I was giving up every second. Guys, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to finish this, but that's my positive and negative, you know, and I definitely don't want you to think ill of James Patterson. Absolutely not. But that is my review on Hawk, because there's just so much wrong with it. Okay, that's going to be it. But guys, definitely, I hope everyone goes out and checks out his great books, books that are worthy of reading. Definitely join the Maximum Ride family, join the journey with Daniel X, and just have fun with the journeys. But also know that this is me. This is just one person's, perspective and opinion. But it's not. I'm just saying. I'm just gonna say it's not a book that I would recommend. I guess I will just say that it's not one I'm ever gonna recommend. Other than that, I hope all of you have enjoyed this. And I hope everyone continues to stay safe and have a wonderful day and week. And I will see y'all next time.